Hi, it's Jules Vandermud here from Tapping with Jules, and I'm an EFT trainer and an advanced EFT practitioner. And I've got with me today Lisa Evans. Welcome, Lisa.
Hello, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming along. So today we're going to talk about EFT as a modality used by social workers, psychologists, any kind of mental health professional. And in my experience, what happens is a lot of people do an EFT training and they get all excited and they're going to go off and change the world and do it with all their clients. And then I hear from them months later and they're, I'm not tapping with anyone really. I'm not tapping on myself and I'm a bit stuck and I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And I'm disappointed in myself, and they're giving themselves a hard time because they're not actually using it. They're not using it with their clients. They're not using it on themselves. And so I wanted to make a video that was about the process of becoming certified in EFT, because in my experience, it's been a really useful process for me to really learn the craft, for one thing, but also to feel supported in it, to be mentored in it, because I think it's really important and necessary as mental health professionals that we do get that support and that mentoring. Beyond the training. So Lisa, I just invited you to just give your experience on what you have found to be the benefits of going through the certification process with EFT.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started off by I kind of came across EFT from seeing some of Peter Stapleton's videos on my Mental Health Academy subscription. And her videos were really talking about her clinical trials that she'd run and some of the results that she was getting with her clients. And so once I'd come across a couple of her presentations, I was thinking, can this be for real? Like, is she actually getting these results that are that amazing and with such speed and effectiveness with the wide variety of different presenting problems? So anyway, I started to look into a little bit more. I did have my own personal experience of EFT because I'm pretty big on practice what you preach. So in my mental health private practice, if I'm telling clients to do something, I'm always practicing it myself as well. So I had a bit of a go at it, and once I'd had that first session, that was me hooked and ready to go. I was like, yep, got to learn how to do this. This seems like an extremely valuable thing to offer to clients. So I actually went a little bit around a backwards way and started doing workshops in EFT, similar to what you said, Jules. My first workshop was with EFT Universe. And at the end, that was a 4 days of, 8 or 9 hours of information coming in. And I was absolutely hooked on the technique and thinking, oh my God, like, this is amazing. I can't believe what this can do, but also totally overwhelmed with how much there was to learn. So much information available at that workshop. And I guess there's like 48 techniques or something in the EFT. And so it's unrealistic to expect that after your first 4-day workshop, you're going to be able to master all of those 48 and remember what they are and when to apply them and how to apply them. That's not really realistic. So anyway, I went on to do another training. I went with Peter's Training Institute, EFT, evidence-based EFT.
Evidence-based EFT,
That's it, yep. And again, under another trainer, all the similar learnings, but just getting totally different perspectives on them and learning different things that you didn't pick up the first time. And then I was like, at the end of that, I was still going, but I need more. I was hungry for more information. So anyway, I went through this process of devouring research papers, books, any of the presentations I could find online, people's workshops. I did a lot of Alina and Craig's workshops, the Smarter Goals, the Art of Delivery. I just could not get enough. And every time I was doing trainings, I was learning something else. So I think at the end of that, I decided I've got this kind of understanding in theory of all of the practice, of all the techniques and how they work. But I still had a little gap in that knowledge around how to put it into practice in a real clinical setting with clients, and at times why you would use one technique instead of the other because they seemed a bit similar, or when you wouldn't use a technique because it wasn't safe for that client. There was still gaps in that learning of kind of taking the theory and putting it into practice. So for me, certification was the next step in that kind of journey for me. I really wanted to get more practical knowledge about when to apply, how to apply. I wanted to learn to master the art of delivery, because knowing about the techniques is one thing, but being able to nail their application to each individual client makes all the world of difference in the results that you can get for that client. So that was definitely a reason for me to want to do certification as well. Also, like you learn, not only do you learn all those techniques, but you learn how to kind of seamlessly transition from one to the next in a session with the client as well, which I think is pretty useful. But I guess it's like anything. If you're an avid studier of CBT, I remember Aaron Beck did that podcast where he did 50 techniques in 50 minutes. So he would explain each of the CBT techniques that he uses, and you could listen to that podcast 100 times and you would not be a master in delivering CBT. So it's kind of unrealistic to think that after that first workshop, the 4 days you get loaded up with information, you're not going to be able to master the art of delivery of EFT. You know, that you really need to start doing a lot more work and putting it into practice. So that's the benefit of certification. That's what you get through that process. And I think that's just invaluable for sure. Another benefit, is the idea that you get access to a mentor or a supervisor, as we call them in our field. So you can get access to group supervision, talking about your application of EFT with clients, and you also get access to that one-on-one supervision. And that, as you know, is so useful when you're in the field and you're applying it with clients and you come across a roadblock, or you need to ask a question, or you know, it went great yesterday with this client, it didn't go so great today. What was it that I needed to do differently? And you can get that really one-on-one specific targeted feedback.
That's right. Because I don't know about you, but I remember when I was first learning it and I was at the sexual assault service, my clinical supervisor was very supportive of EFT, but she had no idea about how to do it. So she couldn't help me anymore, you know what I mean? And so I was really lucky the hospital teed up for me to get mentored by Peter Stapleton. And I would go with this list of 20 questions, you know, like I was just like you, like really hungry to learn more, because especially I think because we're working with traumatized people with lots of adverse childhood experiences, and you know that trauma can just be bubbling under the surface. And so I think a lot of us can feel appropriately a bit worried about starting to chat with people, because some people it just works so quickly and easily and seamlessly, even when we don't really know what we're doing. And then other people it seems like, whoa, there's, you know, they get becoming overwhelmed with emotion very early on, and they're feeling a bit scared. And so just that mentoring and that having that person that knows more than you do about how to handle those different kinds of situations.
And you're right, you do really need someone, a supervisor or a mentor in the EFT field to get that really specific knowledge that you're seeking, because a lot of the mentors and supervisors that exist in mental health fields, social work or psychology, they won't already have an inherent understanding of that. So it's very valuable to get that for sure. And we tend to work with really complex cohort of patients. They do have multiple underlying traumas, or they can have multiple mental health diagnoses. They may have had them since they were young. They may have tried a million different psychotherapies and have a treatment-resistant disorder. They, you know, they've got, it's a very gentle and beautiful technique to be able to work with people like that with really complex challenges, but only when you know what you're doing. And you know, as always, you have to be able to keep a client safe, to keep them regulated, to make sure that you're watching at all times for how they're responding to treatment. And EFT is a beautiful tool for doing that, so long as you are applying it correctly. And you really have to master the art to get to that level, I think. So certification is one way to get there. And Jules, the other thing to mention about that, that just popped into my head, sorry, the benefit of certification is just the ability to have that title, the certification title, and to be accredited with the governing body like EFT International. That is hugely valuable as well. And in our profession, you would know, like with social workers or with psychologists, we have always valued consistency in practice, consistency in approach, for all of the practitioners to be held to an accountability standard. For the, you know, to have a governing body helps regulate the profession, helps maintain the standard of the work that's being delivered. All of those things come with certification and accreditation. If you do a 4-day workshop and go off and practice EFT or anything really, and you're not doing it correctly, you could be causing harm, and there's no real accountability there. So that's another big benefit, I think, to getting certified in EFT.
So true. And how, like, I love, you just go to the EFT International website and there's all these resources.
Yeah.
And we've had similar mentors as well, and you get all these resources as a part of what you're paying for. So, videos and things to read and watch and learn. So it's, you're signing up for that continual learning, ongoing professional development that we all need. And I think just support, like we need to be supported to bring in the fourth wave, of therapy, because it's not easy, is it? Like it's, there's a lot of challenges with it, and people will think you're woo-woo and they don't understand why woo-woo works.
Yeah.
So it's good for us to support one another, because you'll be able to help your clients in ways that you never knew possible before. But
absolutely, and it helps so much with your confidence. I mean, before I started my certification, I think I'd done 3 workshops, because I was continuously going, I need more, I need to refresh, I need more information, I need to go back.
Yeah.
And so I'd done so many already, but once I did certification, what I noticed almost instantly is the jump in my confidence and in my skill level, and my ability to then apply that because I have a private practice. So the confidence that it gives you when you've done that really hands-on practicing of each and every technique, and then have the feedback on your delivery of each and every technique. All of a sudden you get these nuances, and you understand, the more of the art. I think we said the art of delivery. Then your confidence level just goes through the roof. And all of a sudden, my practice, I went from using it with 20% who I felt comfortable or game enough to using it with, I mean, now I'm at 80-90% of my clients I'm using this with. And I just feel confident enough now that I know all of the basic techniques, and I know enough about them that I can deliver them with any client, with any presenting issue, and keep them safe and regulated and within that window of tolerance at all times. So the confidence boost that you get from going through that really hands-on learning process is it's invaluable.
Absolutely. All right, then, that's covered most things, I think. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.